Hello, Norwood voters. My name is Debbie Cole. I was appointed to the Board of Education in June. I will be seeking election in November. I must admit, I find my current position a little ironic, as I've never really been into politics, elections, and the like. Yet here I am. I should add that I'm a very diligent voter. I simply don't get wrapped up in everything leading up to the election. Admittedly, being on the Board of Education wasn't on my radar. For me, it was always a job that someone else had, and while I knew it was a needed position, it wasn't something for which I aspired. Then in May, several friends, parents, and community members approached me and suggested that I apply for one of the 2 vacated positions. This caught me off guard, but as more people suggested it to me, the more I began to think about it. Am I cut out to be on the board? Well, I went to Norwood schools. I didn't graduate from here, but I attended through the 7th grade. I have kids in Norwood schools. My kids have excelled in Norwood schools. My kids participate in a variety of activities in Norwood schools, things like orchestra, athletics, student council, and honor society, just to name a few. I used to substitute teach in Norwood schools. I have spent more hours than I can count over the last 13 years volunteering in Norwood schools. And I absolutely love and respect the teachers, students, staff, and administrators in Norwood schools. These reasons were enough for me to apply. Obviously, I was one of the 2 chosen and appointed by the 3 remaining board members. In terms of formal qualifications, I hold a Master of Business Administration from Thomas More University. I am employed by Givaudan Flavors as a Consumer Understanding Manager. Prior to that, I was sole proprietor of my own market research consulting business for over 10 years, and that's when I was able to be a substitute teacher. Before starting my business, I spent 7 years at Procter & Gamble in their market research department. I have learned many things in my first 4 months on the board. The biggest thing that I've learned is simply, I have a lot to learn. I don't even know what I don't know at this point. I spend a lot of time seeking to understand from those that know more than I. I have learned there are more resources, documents, manuals, publications, and other things that any one person would have time to review and absorb. I've learned to be comfortable to admit that I don't know the answer to certain questions I get asked and that I need to seek advice. Also, I've realized that I'm right where I should be, working side by side with 4 studious board members and our school leadership. I mentioned earlier that I'm really not into politics. As a matter of fact, I had to seek membership to the Norwood political page within the last month or so, as I was hearing from several community members that the page was blowing up with Board of Education issues, and I should probably chime in. But after spending just a few minutes on the page and reading the things that I was reading, I realized that this is not how I want to spend my time. As a board member with just a few months of experience, I didn't feel it my place to chime in and speak to things in which I am not well versed. Why add to the chaos? Rather, I choose to spend my time actively supporting the youth in our community. And this is not a campaign thing. This is just what I do. You've most likely seen me before volunteering in the concession stand at Shea or the concession stand at the high school. Or perhaps you've seen me in the stands cheering on our athletes. I love to hear our talented orchestra, our marching band, the silhouettes, and our other choirs. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing our students perform The Sound of Music very soon. I currently have a senior named John and a freshman named Dylan at Norwood High School. John is a member of National Honor Society, and Dylan is a member of National Junior Honor Society. I don't think they would mind me sharing that John has a weighted cumulative GPA of 4.1, and Dylan was the only male student in middle school that received an award for earning straight A's for both his 7th and 8th grade years. And I'm speaking to Dylan's middle school achievements as he doesn't have an official high school record yet. I am not sharing this information to brag, but I am sharing this information to tell you that our schools are more than proficient. Students can succeed. However, parents are remiss to expect all of this to happen in the time their children are within the 4 walls of our school buildings. I absolutely believe our teachers are top-notch. Yet, in addition, my sons have also received much support at home, particularly in their elementary years. It is our responsibility as parents to supervise homework time, attend conferences, be supportive, and be involved with their school to ensure that they are on target. As parents, we must do all that we can do to facilitate their learning. When my kids left elementary school, it became critical that at a minimum every day we asked them if their homework was finished. Because of the foundation that was laid early on, keeping them on task really hasn't been an issue. They know what is expected of them. To this day, Progress Book is a window that is open on my computer at work, and I know what my kids' grades are at all times. If I know an assignment is late or missing, or if they don't do well on a test, they're held accountable for that. And while they aren't overly fond of this habit, I'm teaching them responsibility and accountability, and that's my job. One of the questions I get asked frequently is, what do you want to change in our schools? And I have to respond to those folks the same way that I responded to the Board of Education when I was interviewed in May, and they asked me a similar question. I do not have a list of things that I think are wrong with our district. I simply don't. I didn't seek appointment nor accept this position with a negative attitude and thinking that this district needs my help. Rather, I came into this position with a servant's heart for the children in our district. I accepted this position with love, appreciation, and admiration for the wonderful work that has already been going on, and with the willingness to be just a small part of the effort to keep us moving in a positive direction. So perhaps this wasn't the kind of statement that is expected from someone that is running for office. I have the ability to compile graphs and charts and to offer an interpretation of them with fancy words, but that's not who I am at all. I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a daughter, I'm a sister, I'm a friend, I'm a volunteer, and I am a proud member of this community. I'm a supporter of our school district and everyone in it, particularly our students. And for me, that's what this position is all about. Thank you for your attention, and thanks in advance for your vote on November 5th. I look forward to continuing to serve the amazing kids in our district.